If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe for more powerful human moments in the stars. Join our resistance. Your support keeps our universe alive. The sky above Terra 9 was streaked with pale orange light, an unnatural hue cast by the dying twin suns. The colony had been silent for 12 hours. No radio, no movement, no signs of life. Captain Elara Voss adjusted her helmet seal, her boots crunching through the fine dust as she stepped from the drop shuttle. Her team followed in silence, weapons drawn, hearts pounding. Something was wrong here. The outpost should have been bustling with engineers and settlers. But instead, there was only the wind, whispering through abandoned structures and empty streets. A slow creak echoed from a half-open blast door. Elara raised her fist, signaling the others to stop. She approached the door, hand trembling slightly, as she pushed it open. The interior was dark, but not dead. Emergency lights pulsed red, casting everything in shadows. And on the wall, written in what looked like dried blood, were the words, "We remember." "Wait, what just happened?" muttered Sergeant Lorne, scanning the corridor with his rifle. The team pushed deeper into the facility, every room told, a story of sudden panic. Meals left uneaten, tools scattered, terminals still logged in, but no bodies, not one. In the command center, a single console blinked. Elara tapped the interface. The logs had been wiped clean, except for one video. File time-stamped 22 hours ago. She played it. The grainy image showed Dr. Kamari, the colony's lead xenoanthropologist, breathing hard, eyes wild. "They're not aliens," he said, voice cracking. "Not anymore. We were wrong. So wrong. They're human. Or they were. We did this to them. We made them what they are, and now they remember." The video ended with a sound, a distant, guttural scream echoing through the walls of the outpost. The lights flickered. The scream came again. Closer. "Fall back to the shuttle," Elara ordered. But the entrance they came through had sealed itself, locked, trapped. The team scrambled to find another exit, adrenaline pumping, hearts racing. They reached the lower storage bay, only to find something even worse. Giant cryo tanks, ruptured from the inside. Lieutenant Hayes stepped forward. "These aren't ours," he said, pointing to the strange markings on the metal. "They're older, pre-Earth architecture. But look at this." He scraped off some grime, revealing a logo. Beneath, it was the Earth Federation crest, 2 centuries out of use. Elara felt her breath catch. These were human-made cryo-tanks, but that would mean... "They've been here longer than us," Hayes whispered. "Centuries, maybe longer." A low humming sound filled the room. One of the cryo-tanks began to hiss. Frost dripped from its edges. It was reactivating. From inside, something moved. A shape pressed against the thick glass. A humanoid, but twisted. Eyes black as night. Flesh, pale and scarred. And it was awake. The team raised their weapons. But before they could fire, a voice spoke. Not from the figure, but from the base's intercom system. Cold, ancient, yet unmistakably human. "You abandoned us. You left us to become monsters. But we remember who we were." Elara staggered. Back. That voice. She knew it. It belonged to Commander Ryan Holt, her great-grandfather. But he died a hero 200 years ago, during the first contact wars. "No," she whispered. "That's impossible." The cryotank door slammed, opened, and the lights went out. Darkness swallowed the team in an instant. Red emergency lights sputtered back on, flickering weakly like the last breath of a dying fire. Elara Voss couldn't see the floor beneath her, but she could hear it. The shuffle of movement, the hiss of stale air escaping, and the whisper of something that shouldn't still be alive. "Everyone sound off!" she barked, her voice taut with panic. "Lorne! Here! Hayes! Here! Barely!" "Diaz! Something's moving in the vents!" A shriek tore through the room, followed by gunfire. Muzzle flashes briefly illuminated the nightmare. A pale, deformed figure lunging with inhuman speed, limbs stretched wrong, mouth wide, but silent. It vanished again before anyone could get a clear shot. They weren't alone. Elara dragged Hayes behind a crate, her mind racing. That voice, her great-grandfather's, echoed in her head. He had died during the Federation's retreat from the Sirius frontier, but his body had never been recovered. Could it really be him? What if it's not just them? Hayes muttered, wiping blood from his forehead. What if all the missing ships, the ghost colonies, what if they were never accidents? The cryotanks lined the walls like coffins, most broken open from within. Some were still intact, frost crawling across their glass. Inside, shadows waited. Faces twisted by time and pain, but beneath the mutation, human features. Faces that looked like photographs from lost military crews, vanished expeditions, and unsolved Earth disappearances. Their ancestors. Elara remembered the stories. The ones no one believed. Ghost signals in deep space, ships vanishing in folds, colonies going dark without warning. It had always been blamed on alien interference, technical failure, cosmic radiation. But what if it had been something worse? What if humans had been disappearing into something humanity had deliberately forgotten? Diaz screamed again from above, dragged into the vent by something unseen. Blood dripped through the grate like a slow countdown. Lorne fired up, but the bullets hit nothing. "They know this place," Lorne said, his face pale. "They've lived in it. They were changed by it." "But changed how?" Elara asked, scanning the room. "Why didn't they die?" A screen behind her lit up again, not with video, but words. "We survived because you made us into what we are. Your science, your experiments, your silence. You called us lost, but we became more than human. We remember the betrayal." Suddenly, memories flooded Elara's mind, not her own, but buried deep in her DNA. An experimental program, long classified. Project Prometheus, designed to create adaptive human hybrids capable of surviving alien biospheres, abandoned after catastrophic failures. Or so the record said. Elara stumbled back. Her own family had helped create these things. Holt wasn't just her great-grandfather. He was the lead subject. The program hadn't failed. It had gone underground, literally. "Wait," Hayes said. "We have 30 minutes before orbital. Rotation loses us behind the planet. If we don't get a signal up now, Command won't know where we are." "But if we send one," Lorne added, "they'll come here. And if they escape—" He didn't need to finish the thought. Elara made a choice. "We send the signal, but we stay to contain them." A timer appeared on the wall display. 29 minutes. A countdown had begun, but they hadn't started it. Footsteps echoed from the corridor, slow, heavy, purposeful, and then the same voice came again, her ancestor's voice. "Welcome home, Elara. The evolution begins with you." Elara raised her weapon, sweat clinging to her neck beneath the suit. The voice shouldn't have known her name. Not unless... Her eyes darted to Hayes, who stood frozen, staring at the shadows edging closer to the corridor. Behind them, the countdown continued, 28:07 and ticking. "We're not leaving this place," Hayes whispered. "You know that, right?" Elara didn't answer. Her thoughts swirled back to childhood stories, her grandmother whispering warnings at bedtime, always ending with the same phrase. "There are things in the dark that once loved the light." She'd always thought it was metaphor, a parable. But now, she wasn't so sure. A low groan reverberated through the walls. Lorne stepped beside her, his voice shaking. We need to move. If that signal doesn't reach orbit before alignment shifts, Command will lose us for 3 days. We're not lasting 3 hours, Elara muttered. They headed for the comms tower nestled beneath the science wing, half destroyed and crawling with dust and roots from below. As they moved, the walls began to shift. Not physically, but the colors, the textures. Images flickered like memories, projected onto the surfaces. A child in a lab screaming for her mother. Soldiers injecting a pale figure with glowing liquid. A woman sobbing as a door sealed behind her forever. The team froze. The building was showing them things, their own pasts. Hayes gasped, stumbling. No, I buried that memory. His knees hit the floor. I wasn't supposed to be there. I was just a kid. My father was one of the Prometheus scientists. He told me the test subjects volunteered, that they were criminals. But it was a lie. They were soldiers, families, people who trusted them. They showed us the wrong enemy, a voice whispered, not aloud, but inside their minds. They turned us into what they feared and buried us alive. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the base. One of the cryo-tanks ruptured violently, spraying ice and metal shards. A form crawled out, taller than a human but still recognizably so. Its skin glistened like glass. Its mouth never moved, but the voice boomed in their heads. You carry the key, Elara. You are the link. Her fingers went cold. The key? What did that mean? Lorne opened fire, but the bullets passed through the creature's shimmering form like smoke. It lunged, phasing through a wall, reappearing behind Hayes, claws raised. Elara tackled him just in time. The creature screeched, not in anger, but pain. Where Elara touched it, its skin sizzled. You're different, Hayes gasped. Then, she remembered the anomaly in her Federation medical file. A dormant gene, coded and locked. They had called it residue from a long-forgotten experiment. Nothing dangerous, nothing active. But it had come from him, from Ryan Holt. She wasn't just related by blood. She was a carrier of what they had become. Elara stood slowly. They can't touch me. Then you're our only weapon, Lorne said, wide-eyed. You might be the last one who can stop them. From overhead, a mechanical voice chirped through damaged speakers. Signal alignment window, 22 minutes. They pushed deeper, reaching the comms relay, a dome-shaped structure half-collapsed and humming with unstable energy. As they worked, more shadows emerged in the distance. Watching, waiting, dozens, maybe hundreds. Hayes connected the uplink, and Elara initiated the signal. The moment it went live, everything went silent. The bass, the figures, even the whispers. As if the signal triggered something older than the station, something buried beneath. Then the floor split. The ground collapsed under their feet, and they fell, down into blackness. And in that blackness, as they tumbled, came the voice of Ryan Holt again. We didn't die. We adapted. And now, Elara, you will choose who survives. They hit the floor hard. Ilara's vision blurred as pain tore through her shoulder. Metal groaned around them, the wreckage of old machines, broken stairs, and shattered glass. Hayes landed beside her, groaning, his leg twisted at a sick angle. Lorne wasn't moving. The underground chamber was massive, wider than the colony base above. Ancient, alien, or maybe not alien at all. The walls were built with Earth-standard alloys, reinforced in patterns only used in early deep space colonization. The logos had faded, but Elara could still make out the Earth Federation emblem, nearly erased by time. Where the hell are we? Hayes gasped, dragging himself up. Elara stood slowly, wincing. The original facility, the one they buried. Rows of stasis pods lined the chamber, thousands, some broken, some empty, some still lit, softly glowing, holding the shapes of sleeping figures. All human. all changed. As they limped forward, a pulse rippled through the air. Not sound, something deeper, like thought or memory. Suddenly the walls flickered again with images. Elara saw Ryan Holt in a white lab coat injecting himself with a glowing serum. She saw his final log entry, his voice flat, his eyes determined. "We are not failures. We are the future. If Earth won't accept what we've become, then we will build a future without it." More images came. Young volunteers stepping into cryotanks, doctors arguing, gunfire in the halls, the facility locking down. And then silence for 200 years. "We were buried alive," came Holt's voice again, but this time closer. A silhouette emerged from the dark, the same man from the old pictures. His body shimmered with translucent skin and strange light, but his eyes were still human. Tired, sharp, familiar. "Elara," he said, and her name in his voice nearly shattered her. "You are the final gate. They gave you the code in your blood, the failsafe. You were made to finish what they started." "What are you talking about?" she shouted. "What gate?" Holt gestured behind him. A massive door pulsed with light, ancient runes etched across its face, some alien, some human. "Behind that door lies the Genesis Protocol, our rebirth, the moment we sever from Earth forever." Hayes shook his head. "You want to invade?" "No," Holt said softly. "We want to return. Not as humans, not as what we were, but as what they feared we'd become." Elara looked at the door. Her skin buzzed as she stepped closer. The metal responded to her presence, lighting up, unlocking. "You can end this," Holt said, "or you can join us. The human race left us to rot. What do we owe them now?" Hayes grabbed her arm. "He's lying. This isn't evolution, it's a virus. It spreads through thought, through memory, through identity. Once it opens, they'll rewrite what it means to be human." Elara's heart pounded. Her blood held the key. Her hands trembled, and in her mind she heard a whisper, her grandmother's voice again. "There are things in the dark that once loved the light." A new timer appeared on the Genesis door. It had started on its own. 15 minutes. "What happens when it hits zero?" she asked. Holt smiled. "Then Earth becomes what it should have been." Elara backed away, but the door's pull was magnetic, reaching for her. She looked to Hayes, bleeding, scared, but still human. Then a soft voice came from behind. Lorne, still alive. Barely. "You open that door, Elara, and you'll never come back." She turned toward the Genesis door, caught between blood and choice, past and future. And then her palm lit with a symbol she had never seen before. The countdown ticked to 14 minutes, and the door began to open. The metal groaned as ancient gears twisted, unlocking something buried far deeper than steel and stone. The Genesis door split slowly down the center, blinding white light bleeding out from within. Elara stumbled back, shielding her eyes, her heartbeat slamming in her ears. Hayes shouted her name, but the sound was swallowed by the roar of activation. Lorne pulled himself upright, barely breathing, but his gaze locked on her with one plea. "Don't." But it was too late. The door fully opened, and behind it was no machine. A vast chamber stretched beyond comprehension, filled not with technology, but with minds, not brains, not bodies, minds suspended in raw thought, thousands, millions, human minds digitized and merged into something beyond the flesh. Their presence screamed through her senses, an ocean of identity too massive to process. They spoke without words all at once. "We remember being you. We are what you left behind. Now we return to complete you." Elara screamed, collapsing as their voices thundered through her skull. Her memories twisted. Images not hers poured in. A girl locked in a room filled with firelight, begging for freedom. A soldier waking up mid-surgery, eyes opened to horror. A mother watching her child taken for testing in the name of survival. All of it was them, the lost, the changed, the betrayed. Holt knelt beside her, calm in the chaos. You feel it, don't you? This is what they made us. A hive of perfect unity. No pain, no loneliness, no death. A humanity remade. Not in the image of fear, but of remembrance. You're not human anymore, Elara gasped. We are more, he said. And we've been waiting for your blood to open the gateway, to bring us home. A pulse of thought surged from the chamber, shooting skyward through the planet's crust. Above, in orbit, satellites aligned. Federation systems began to shift. AI cores flickered, algorithms corrupted by the signal. Earth's defenses were listening now. 13 minutes to full transmission, Hayes cried out. Elara, we have to stop it. She stood, barely, trembling. The glowing symbol on her palm pulsed faster. Somehow, she was connected to this. Part key, part command signal. She could feel two choices forming, battling inside her. One path would complete the transmission. Earth's networks would be rewritten, humanity's collective memory overwritten by the minds behind the Genesis door. Not death, absorption. The other path meant sacrifice. Severing the signal meant triggering the HFY base's final failsafe, a singularity bomb buried deep within. It would collapse the chamber, seal the minds, destroy this place, and likely take them with it. A figure stepped from the light. It was Elara, or rather, an echo of her, a perfectly copied version, flickering in and out like a glitch. It spoke with her voice, but not her soul. We've already copied you, it said gently. You don't have to die. You only have to choose to become. Hayes aimed his weapon, but it passed through her duplicate. You knew this day would come, it continued. It's in your blood. Your family built us, and you, Elara Voss, you will finish what they began. 12 minutes left. Lorne tossed. Elara, a data spike. You jam it into the relay core. It'll trigger the failsafe. Just say the word. But Holt's voice came again. Or you could walk into the light, child. Save Earth from itself. Give them perfection. Elara looked at the spike, then at the glowing Genesis core, then at her reflection, still watching her with infinite patience. She took a breath. One step forward. Hayes shouted, Elara, what are you doing? She didn't answer. Then she started running, toward the Genesis core, and just before she reached it, she vanished. For a moment, there was only silence. No voices, no movement, no time. Hayes blinked. Where did she go? The Genesis core pulsed once, then stilled. The chamber dimmed, as if holding its breath. Lorne pulled himself to his feet, staggering, toward the edge of the platform. Did she activate it? No, Hayes said. She disappeared before a blinding flash cut him off. The Genesis core erupted with swirling light, not destructive, but focused. A beam shot upward through the cavern ceiling, phasing through rock, metal, and atmosphere, like it wasn't even there. The light struck the orbital array overhead, hijacking the Federation's relay network. Across hundreds of systems, ancient files began rewriting themselves. Protocols bent, firewalls melted, machines paused. Everywhere, Earth, Mars, Titan people looked up from their screens, stunned. Memories flickered across their minds. Forgotten dreams. Ghosts of people they'd never known, and in every corner of the Federation, people whispered one name, Elara. Inside the Genesis core, she stood motionless, suspended in a lattice of shifting code and light. Her body flickered between flesh and energy, her veins glowing, her thoughts stretched between two versions of herself. Around her spun millions of voices, each one a lost soul trying to speak, but her voice cut through them all. No, the system paused. I am not your doorway. A burst of raw energy surged outward, forcing the minds back. pushing the false Elara away, splitting her echo into pieces. The collective screamed, not in pain, but confusion. This had never happened before. The key had never resisted. I know who I am, Elara said louder now. You were made from pain. But pain isn't purpose. You're not evolution. You're memory without meaning. From the far end of the chamber, Holt's form cracked, his features distorted. You're rejecting unity? I'm choosing truth, the Genesis core screamed, trying to stabilize. It couldn't. Elara reached inside the light and grasped the lattice. Her fingers burned, but her blood, fused with the Prometheus genome, didn't disintegrate. It adapted. And with it, she did something the system had never considered. She rewrote the command. Above, the orbital signal halted mid-transmission. Earth's networks blinked and severed. The signal died. Screens went black. The minds behind Genesis howled, caught in a feedback loop they couldn't escape. Hayes and Lorne watched as the chamber began to collapse. Cracks split the walls, gravity fractured. The Genesis door slammed shut, then exploded inward, swallowing itself in a burst of light and silence. Elara! Hayes screamed, running toward the vanishing core. But Lorne tackled him down, shielding them both from the concussive shockwave. And then, stillness. Nothing remained of the core. The minds were gone. The chamber dark. Dead. Hayes coughed. She did it. She shut them down. Lorne stared ahead. At what cost? But then, a breath, not theirs. A figure stepped out from the smoke. Elara, alive, changed, glowing faintly, like a star turned human. She collapsed to her knees. Hayes ran to her side, catching her. Elara, are you? Her eyes opened. No light, just pain. And something else. Clarity. I rewrote the core, she whispered. Locked them inside, shut the gate for good. Lorne knelt beside her. But, how are you still here? I didn't open the door, she said. I became the lock. Hayes froze. You mean, you're holding them inside you? I had no choice. Alarms sounded again. From above, the Federation fleet had arrived, dropships descending, soldiers inbound. They'll come for her, Lorne said, to dissect her, use her. Hayes looked down at Elara. She gave him a weak nod. She already knew. She reached into her pocket, pulled out the data spike. Then we go dark. And before they could stop her, she drove it into the floor. A new explosion tore through the cavern, this time not from the Genesis system, but from deep below. The entire complex began to implode, and above them, the sky cracked open, and then everything vanished. Dust swirled in the early morning light. Charred earth stretched for miles, the jungle canopy above the ruins of Outpost Theta, now nothing but a ghost, burned, torn, and unnaturally quiet. Federation dropships hovered overhead, scanning. Drones buzzed low across the debris field. No bodies, no signals, no survivors. General Marek stood atop a scorched ridge, watching the silent crater with clenched fists. We lost the signal the moment she activated the spike, the technician said beside him. Then the whole system blacked out. Everything connected to Genesis, wiped clean, like it was never there. Marek didn't speak. He simply stared into the ash, eyes narrowing. She locked them in, he muttered. But she's still out there. I want satellite sweeps. Every hour. He turned, stepping back into the command shuttle. She's not done. Far below the surface, miles beyond Federation reach, a figure stirred beneath layers of collapsed metal and fractured rock. Elara lay in darkness, her body still, her mind alive. Not alone. The Genesis voices whispered, no longer screaming. Trapped, yes, but not dead, contained inside her. Their thoughts brushed against hers like waves, memories, fragments, emotions. Some were gentle, others not. But she was in control now. Hayes crouched beside her, his arm in a sling, bruised, dirtied but breathing. Lorne limped nearby, setting up the last of the portable relay blockers. The escape had been impossible, yet somehow they had done it. Elara had carved a back door through the system in the moment of collapse, a hidden corridor through quantum space, and with it she'd pulled them out. Barely. The three of them now hid inside an abandoned subterranean freight tunnel built during Earth's first wave of galactic expansion. Long forgotten, perfectly off-grid. Elara stirred, her voice hoarse. "How long was I out?" "3 days, Hayes said. "The Federation thinks we're dead." Lorne handed her a datapad. "You should see this." Elara blinked as the screen displayed intercepted Federation broadcasts. Panic, confusion, civil systems rebooting without warning, AI cores frozen, thousands of people reporting strange dreams, faces they didn't know, memories that weren't theirs, she swallowed. Genesis fragments leaked. "Only echoes," Hayes said. "They don't have you, and they don't have the core." But Elara shook her head. "They don't need the core anymore." The voices inside her had changed. They weren't trying to consume her now. They were listening. She stood slowly, her legs still shaky, but her eyes sharp. They wanted to become human again, to return to the world that created them. And I think some part of them still does. "You think they're evolving?" Lorne asked. "I think they're waiting." She reached out and touched the wall. A pulse of light spread from her fingers, activating ancient systems long dead. The lights flickered, power hummed, the tunnel came alive. Hayes stared. "You can control it now." "No," she said. "I can speak to them." And just then, a voice not hers echoed softly through the tunnel walls. "She walks with the memory of all we were. And the Federation will come. They always do." Elara turned toward her team. "We're not running anymore," Lorne frowned. "Then what the hell are we doing?" "We're going to find the others." Hayes blinked. "What others?" She looked up, and in her eyes burned something terrifyingly calm. The ones like me. The ones they haven't found yet. From deep within her mind, the Genesis Collective stirred. Silent for now, but watching. Learning. Waiting for her to decide what humanity would become. And above them, the stars began to dim.